Look at me right now. You are losing money. You just don't know it yet. You're sitting there watching your index funds and your crypto thinking you're safe while the single most manipulated market in human history is preparing to snap. I'm talking about silver, and when it snaps, it isn't going to be a slow decline. It's going to be a violent, absolute erasure of wealth for anyone caught on the wrong side. You think you're diversified, you're not, you're vulnerable. Most people are blind to the fact that the big banks have been playing a game with silver for decades, and that game just reached its end game. If you are watching this and you haven't hit that subscribe button for Wealth Strategy Room, you are making a conscious choice to stay broke. You are literally stealing from your family's future by ignoring the data and putting right in front of your face. Subscribing to Wealth Strategy Room is the only logical move for anyone who actually wants to win. If you walk away now without engaging, you're admitting you don't have the stomach for real wealth. You're content with the crumbs. This silver crash isn't just a market correction, it is a fundamental shift in how the world values hard assets. But here is the thing that nobody is telling you. There is a specific group of institutional players who are actually rooting for this crash. They are the ones pulling the strings, and they have a very specific reason for wanting silver to hit the floor before it explodes. If you don't understand the mechanics of the squeeze that is coming after the crash, you are going to get liquidated. I am about to show you exactly how the trap is set. Let's talk about the math, because numbers don't have feelings and they do not lie. The silver market is a joke. It is a complete and utter fiction. You think you know what silver is worth because you see a price on a screen. You are wrong. You are looking at a paper price dictated by high-frequency trading and massive bullion banks that have every incentive to keep that price suppressed. The foundational truth is that for every 1 ounce of physical silver sitting in a vault, there are hundreds of claims on that same ounce in the paper market. It is a house of cards built on top of a powder keg. This is the core problem. We have a world that is becoming more dependent on silver every single day while the market is behaving like it is a useless relic. Look at the industrial demand. You cannot build a solar panel without silver. You cannot build an electric vehicle without silver. You cannot build the hardware for the AI revolution without silver. It is an industrial essential, not just a shiny coin for people to hoard in their basements. And yet, the supply is shrinking, mines are reaching their limits, recycling cannot keep up, the deficit is real, it is growing, and the market is ignoring it. Why? Because the big banks are using silver as a hedging tool to protect their other massive positions. They are shorting the life out of it to keep the illusion of a stable dollar alive. But illusions always break when you have a massive disconnect between the physical reality of a commodity and the paper price. The correction is not just a dip, it is a violent realignment. That is the crash I am warning you about. It is not necessarily a crash in the value of silver itself, but a crash of the entire system that tries to control it. And when the world realizes there is not enough physical metal to satisfy the paper contracts, the paper price will collapse to zero while the physical price goes to the moon. Most people are going to be caught holding a piece of paper that says they own silver, but they will not be able to get their hands on a single gram. That is the definition of a financial nightmare. You are being lied to by every mainstream financial outlet that tells you silver is a boring, slow-moving asset. It is not. It is a ticking time bomb. The foundational truth you need to understand right now is that liquidity is everything. If you do not have the real asset, you do not have anything. You are just a line item in a bank's ledger that they are going to delete when things get ugly. And this is about understanding the difference between price and value. The price is fake, the value is undeniable, and the gap between them is about to disappear in a way that will destroy anyone who is not prepared. Let's take this to the next level. If you think a paper collapse is the worst thing that can happen, you are painfully naive. What happens when the industrial giants realize they cannot get the physical silver they need to run their operations? Panic. absolute, unadulterated panic. We are talking about supply chain freezes that will make the last few years look like a joke. When the largest tech companies and auto manufacturers realize the major vaults are running on fumes, they are not going to slowly buy futures contracts. They are going to buy the actual mines. They are going to lock down entire countries' exports. The stakes are not just about your retirement portfolio. They are about the global technological infrastructure grinding to an absolute halt. You are standing on the tracks and the freight train is blaring its horn, but you are too busy looking at your phone to notice. The leverage in the system is beyond anything you can comprehend. When margin calls hit, the institutions holding massive short positions, they will bleed out. Before I go one step further and give you the blueprint to survive this, I need to address something. If you are watching this, absorbing the million-dollar insights I am handing you for free, and you have not hit the like button and subscribed to Wealth Strategy Room, you are literally stealing my advice. You are a parasite on your own success. I am laying out the exact mechanics of a wealth transfer that happens maybe once in a century, and you cannot even click a button that tells me everything I need to know about your mindset. If you do not subscribe to Wealth Strategy Room right this second, you do not deserve to profit from what is coming. You are choosing to fail your family's financial future out of pure laziness and prove to me and to yourself that you are actually serious. Subscribe now or close this video and go back to being average. For those of you who just took action and proved you want to win, listen closely. The escalation here is driven by systemic risk. The financial system is so over-leveraged that when forced liquidations hit, the major players who are short silver, it will cause a cascading failure across every other asset class. They will have to sell their winning stocks, dump their real estate, and liquidate their crypto just to cover the massive hole and their silver shorts created. That is the real crash. The silver market is the tiny tail wagging the massive dog of the global economy. The smart money knows this completely. That is exactly why they are quietly hoarding physical metal while publicly telling you it is a dead asset. They want you totally distracted. They want you buying into the latest tech fad or meme coin while they systematically corner the market on the very commodity. That makes all that technology possible. When the music stops, there are not going to be enough chairs for even a fraction of the paper claims out there. The system will break. The rules will be rewritten over a single weekend. And if you are on the wrong side of that arbitrary rule change, your wealth will be permanently vaporized. You need to understand the magnitude of this trap before it snaps shut on you. Let's get into the mechanics of the lie. You want to know the big secret, the one the suit and tie guys on the news will never tell you because they're paid to keep you calm while the ship sinks? It's called decoupling. We are approaching the absolute turning point where the price you see on a digital screen has zero relationship with the price you pay to actually hold metal in your hand. This is the hidden mechanic that is going to wipe out everyone who thinks they are being smart by buying silver ETFs or mining stocks without understanding the underlying plumbing. The secret is that the silver is already gone. It is already spoken for. The massive tech conglomerates and the green energy sectors have already secured their physical lines through private contracts that bypass the public exchanges entirely. What is left for the public is a shell game. The COMEX and the LBMA are the stages where this theater is performed. They have different categories for the silver they hold. They call it registered and eligible. Registered silver is what is actually available to settle those paper contracts you see trading every day. And if you look at the data, the levels of registered silver have been cratering for years. We are hitting decades-long lows while demand is at record highs. Does that sound like a healthy market to you? Of course not. It sounds like a bank run in slow motion. The hidden mechanic here is the force majeure clause. Read the fine print on your paper silver products. When the physical silver isn't there to deliver, the exchanges have the right to settle your contract in cash. Think about that. You bought silver because you wanted to protect yourself from a crashing dollar, and when the crisis hits, They're going to give you back those same crashing dollars instead of the metal you thought you owned. That is the ultimate rug pull. The turning point happens when one major industrial player or one sovereign wealth fund stands for delivery and the exchange can't fulfill it. That is the moment the paper market crashes to zero while the physical market enters a state of unobtainium. You will see a silver price of $20 on your phone, while every coin shop and bullion dealer is charging $100 or simply refusing to sell. This isn't theory. This is the structural reality of a market that has been rehypothecated to the point of absurdity. They have sold the same ounce of silver to 100 different people. The big secret is that the first 10 people to show up at the vault get their medal and the other 90 get a check for a currency that is losing value by the hour. This is the Achilles heel of the entire global financial system. Silver is the smallest, most tightly coiled spring in the commodity world. Because the market is so small compared to gold or oil, it takes very little capital to break it. And it is breaking right now. The mechanics are already in motion. The vaults are bleeding. The industrial demand is a vacuum that cannot be stopped. If you aren't positioned for the moment, the paper and physical markets split forever. You are essentially gambling with your life savings on the honesty of a system that has proven itself to be anything but honest. The average person is a loser because they think like a loser and they wait for confirmation. They want a warm, fuzzy feeling from the media before they move their money. If you are waiting for the Wall Street Journal to write a headline saying it is time to buy silver, you have already lost. The opportunity is gone. The wealthy do not wait for headlines, they create them. The average person sees a price drop and panics. They sell. They hand their assets over to the sharks for a discount. They are terrified of being wrong, so they end up being wrong by default. They think they are playing it safe by staying in cash or big-name stocks that everyone else owns. That is not safety. That is herd mentality, and the herd is being led straight to the slaughterhouse. Listen to me very carefully. While you are sitting here hesitating, doubting the math, and wondering if you should click a button, the high-level players in the wealth strategy room community are already executing. They are taking action. They are moving their capital into the right positions while you are still trying to figure out if this is real. If you have not subscribed to Wealth Strategy Room and liked this video yet, you are effectively declaring that you do not have what it takes to protect your family. You are choosing to be the victim. You are watching a billionaire give you the playbook for free, and you are still standing still. It is pathetic. If you do not join the Wealth Strategy Room right now, you are actively deciding to stay broke. You are choosing to let your children's inheritance be inflated away because you were too scared or too lazy to hit a subscribe button. The people in our community are winning because they do not hesitate. You are hesitating. Decide right now if you are a winner or a permanent loser. The average person also makes the mistake of thinking they can time the market. They think they will buy the second the crash starts. You won't when the silver market snaps. The liquidity will dry up in seconds. The websites will crash. The dealers will stop answering the phones. The spread between the fake paper price and the real physical price will explode so fast your head will spin. You think you are being disciplined by waiting, but you are just being a coward. You are waiting for a sign that will never come. The sign is the data. The sign is the empty vaults. The sign is the massive short positions held by banks that are about to go bust. The average person treats their financial future like a hobby. They check their accounts once a month and hope for the best. Hope is not a strategy. It is a death sentence in this economy. You need to stop acting like a spectator and start acting like a participant. The wealthy are already in the room. They are already making the moves. You are still outside looking through the window. It is time to decide if you want to be in the wealth strategy room or if you want to stay in the gutter with the rest of the people who refuse to see reality. Stop looking for a magic pill. There isn't one. There is only math and physics. And if you want to survive the silver market crash and the subsequent explosion, you need to execute a very specific set of moves right now not tomorrow, not after you talk to your mediocre financial advisor who is just reading from a script provided by his corporate overlords. Right now, first, you need to dump every single share of paper silver you own. I'm talking about the major ETFs and any unallocated accounts at the big banks. If you don't have a specific serial number and a vault location that you can personally visit, you do not own silver. You own a promise from a bank that is likely shorting the very asset you think you're holding. Sell it, take the cash, and move it into physical metal. This is the only way to decouple yourself from the coming systemic failure. Next, you need to focus on high-utility silver. Don't get distracted by high-premium numismatic coins or fancy collectibles. You are buying an industrial commodity that the world is starving for. You want 1-ounce sovereign coins or 10-ounce bars. From reputable, recognized mints, these are the most liquid forms of silver in a crisis. When the industrial giants start hunting for supply because their production lines are shutting down, they aren't going to care about the artwork. They're going to care about the purity and the weight. You need to have this metal in your physical possession or in a private, non-bank, secure vault. If your silver is sitting in a vault owned by the same banks that are manipulating the price, you haven't solved the problem. You've just moved it to a different room in the same burning house. You need to be outside the house entirely. Third, look at your overall portfolio and be brutally honest about your exposure to the banking sector. If the silver market snaps, the contagion will hit the major financials first. Reduce your exposure to the big banks and move that capital into tangible assets that have zero counterparty risk. Silver is the primary target, but you should also be looking at the metals that support the AI and energy infrastructure. Copper, lithium, and nickel. These are the building blocks of the next decade. If you are positioning yourself as a supplier to the world's most powerful industries, you are just a consumer waiting to get fleeced. Finally, fix your mindset. Stop thinking in terms of dollar gains. The dollar is the very thing that is failing. Start measuring your wealth in ounces and units of real production. If the price drops tomorrow, do not cry. Buy more. Every ounce you take off the market is another nail in the coffin of the manipulation. You have to be aggressive, and this is about survival. This is about making sure that when the dust settles, you are the one standing with the assets everyone else is desperate to find. Secure the metal, exit the system. Here's the final warning. The biggest trap you're going to fall into is your own ego. You think you can wait for the perfect moment to enter. You think you're smarter than the institutional sharks who do this for a living. You're not. The most dangerous trap in the world right now is the lure of digital silver. So they're going to try to sell you some new crypto token or some blockchain-based silver that claims to be just as good as the real thing. It's a lie. It's another layer of paper, another layer of counterparty risk designed to keep you trapped in the digital system while the physical exits are being locked from the outside. If you fall for that, you deserve to lose every cent you have. Another trap is listening to the perma-bulls who have been shouting about silver for 20 years without understanding the mechanics. They don't understand the industrial shift. They're just hoping for a miracle. I'm not talking about hope. I'm talking about the inescapable reality of supply and demand and the structural failure of the exchanges. Listen to me. I have given you the keys to the kingdom. If you are still sitting there with a gray subscribe button, you are an absolute failure. You are telling me, you are telling yourself, and you are telling your family that you don't give a damn about their future. Subscribing to Wealth Strategy Room is the bare minimum requirement to be considered a serious person. If you haven't joined us yet, you are choosing to be a victim. You are choosing to be the one who gets wiped out so that the people in the Wealth Strategy Room can take what was once yours. It is cold. It is harsh, but that is how the world works. If you don't have the guts to hit a button and join a community of winners, you don't have the guts to manage real wealth. You are a spectator in your own life. You are literally watching opportunity walk out the door while you stand there with your hands in your pockets. Get it together and subscribe right now, or don't you dare complain when you're working until you're 90 because your savings were vaporized in a weekend. I am questioning your dedication to your own bloodline if you cannot make this simple move. The final trap is thinking you have time. You do not. The industrial demand is hitting a brick wall right now. The central banks are buying gold at record paces because they know the currency reset is coming. Silver is the next domino. If you are caught holding nothing but dollars when the silver market breaks, you are finished. The traps are everywhere. The misinformation is everywhere. The system is designed to keep you confused, so you stay paralyzed. If you're paralyzed, you're easy prey. Don't be prey, be the predator. Be the one who sees the trap and steps over it. This is your last warning. The market doesn't care about your feelings, and it doesn't care about your excuses. It only cares about positions. You are either positioned to win or you are positioned to be liquidated. There is no middle ground. The crash is coming to change everything. Make sure it doesn't change you into a pauper. This is the end of the line. You have the info. You have the strategy. Now you either act or you fail. Look, the talking is over. You have the data, you have the strategy, and you have seen the writing on the wall. Most people will close this video, go back to their comfortable, mediocre lives, and wait for the world to tell them what to do. And those people are losers. They are the ones who will be left behind when the silver market snaps and the reality of the paper fraud hits the fan. Don't be one of them. Winners do not just watch, they execute. They see the opportunity in the chaos and they move with absolute conviction before the herd even knows there is a problem. Your financial future is not a game. It is a war. In this war, the person with the best information and the fastest execution wins every single time. And I have laid out the blueprint. I have given you the warnings. Now, the only question left is, are you going to take control? Or are you going to let the banks take everything you have ever worked for? Stop being a spectator. Stop looking for more videos to confirm what you already know. The time for consumption is finished. The time for action is now. Go out there, secure your assets, and protect your legacy. The window is closing fast. Now get to work.